Greetings. Good day. Greetings.
Why is it not? Hold on, having technical difficulties here. Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Make sure my audio is coming through. Testing 1, 2, 3. Alright, audio is coming through. Chat is now up. Hello, everybody. Every theme park has its ups and downs, but at least the Pirates of the Caribbean, when it breaks down, the pirates don't jump off the ride and start eating the tourists. Glitches, much like life, will find a way. So hello everybody, Fingal here. And today we are starting up Act 2 in our Assassin build series. Specifically, this one is traps. We will move to the other two once we finish normal. And today, to start off, I realized our level is only level 13, which is going to get us killed a lot as we go out into the desert wastes. Most of our enemies are not going to be a big issue to us. What is going to be the massive issue to us is specific beetles that we will run into for most of this act. Since we don't have a whole lot of HP to deal with the effects of when they get hit, we are actually going to go to Act 1 first and go through the catacombs. And then after we're through with the catacombs, we might have to do we'll be too high in level for a Tristram run, but at that point we should have gained a couple of levels so that we can go into the sewers here in Act 2 and clear those out. Once we get through there, we should be high enough in level to deal with the biggest problems out in the waste. This is the ruler of the city of Act 2, the Lord of Lutgolian, and he is here to welcome me. Fortunately, I gotta go talk to this dude. Since we're now in Act 2, also, if my fiance is watching, could you send notifications to the Discords, because I forgot to do so, to let them know I am live. I am really not good at being a streamer yet. Like all skills, you have to build them up, and I keep forgetting. Actually, let me swap over. I can do it myself. Hold on. Make sure it's still showing the game screen. Okay, we are still on the game screen. Cool. General. Okay. This is done. So there's two people we can talk to go back. We can either go here to our waypoint and then click Act 1 and then go back to the rogue's camp. Or what we can do, or really we can go anywhere we want from the waypoint system. Or we can just come all the way back here and talk to Wariv and go west. Whichever part you find easier. And I need to get all the live chat. There we go. Okay. So once we're here, we're going to go over to the catacombs. Level 2. Pull open our map. And hold on. So I don't have a bunch of stuff popping up. No, it's not Cortex. I want to bring up its Synapse. Whoops. Go to setting 1. Okay, then I can exit out of that. Come back. Okay. Now I'm not going to be alt pulling up items all the time while we're down here running around. So right now we're just going through the motions of going through, killing everything we come across. Unfortunately, I am going to have to just swap back over to this trap because it takes a blessed mana. Mind you, when you put traps down, you can only have so many of a specific trap. So you can maximize like your lightning your 2 different types of lightning ones down, and then swap to this if you need to output more damage. The big thing though is, especially if you're playing a martial assassin, which I'm very much debating being our second playthrough, because that one is a lot of fun. That one in particular has, well, we don't need to go down yet because we're here for EXP. That one in particular is one where we will be using our little macro keys to swap between gear set or skills, because for the martial sin, you actually do your combos stack, and because they stack, what you can do is, if you're very fast about it, run into a group of enemies, hit them 3 times with your main attack. As soon as you see that you have your 3 little combo orbs floating around you, swap over to the next one. And while at low level, you're only going to get really 1 big nuke attack out of that. At the higher levels, especially when we can have our 2 most base equipped, essentially we just nuke everything we kick with that build. It's very much fun and broken, and unless you play ladder, you really don't get to see it all that often. The last few times I actually played that character and helped people do Hell Cow runs, I got a lot of questions about what on earth I was actually playing, because they'd never seen that build before. And it is a build that I did pick up from watching ladder players play. So right now we're just going through building stuff, or killing stuff, not building stuff. Funnily enough, with this game, like, with the Resurrected version, you can actually play it in the OG way. So, if you're playing on Resurrected and you hit G, you go to old school mode. Which I know probably looks absolutely horrible on the stream, because this is what it looked like for me back when I played almost, Jesus, at this point it was 2 decades ago in a couple of years. So if we hit G again, it refreshes, we're back to normal. And what we can do from here is we can hit F, and it allows us to zoom in our character. So if you want to feel a little bit more claustrophobic or have a little bit better definition of actually watching your character, you can always hit F and zoom in. To be fair, I've never really played with it like this for very long. Usually I do this when I'm playing the cow level and I'm trying to just pick up gear, because when you kill a bunch of them, there's a lot of stuff, and when you alt to see everything that's dropped, it like prioritizes like items at the top of the screen over at the bottom of the screen, and so you're not overwhelmed with like items that you can't pick up, or you're gonna run around to try and pick up and the game will glitch. This is one way to get around. Honestly though, I actually kind of like playing around in the zoomed in mode. Makes me feel a little bit more claustrophobic. Like, you cannot see the evil around the corner. You have to go by audio like a Call of Duty player.
I need mana.
As we saw a minute ago, assassins can automatically open locked chests. They don't need keys for it. Who's still alive around here? I hear somebody. So as we're just going around leveling, really the only thing we really need to pick up at this point is runes that drop, gems that drop, and potions to keep ourselves alive and with mana. Runes and gems are really, really nice. Gems are good if you have set gear like the Saigon set. And you're trying to improve it. So, like, if I really, really wanted to, I could have, like, tried to rush 2 or 3 characters through the entire game and get all of the Saigon set socketed in Act 5 from a quest. So each character, since it's a single quest, you can only do it once. So each character can do 3 pieces. So it would take, what is that, 2 characters? Oops, wrong one. It would take 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it would take 2 characters running through just to socket it. But you could give it, socket it with diamonds, which would increase your defensive stats. You could socket it with sapphires. Like, this build, really, I should have preemptively gone and socketed sapphires into it. But yeah, it's a little too late now. Because sapphires give mana when they're put in armor. So it gives plus 10 mana. You get dexterity from emeralds, life from rubies. Here's an L rune, which gives attack rating, and a skull gives you life stolen per hit, or mana and life regeneration when it's in armor. This morning I did go through, with my higher level characters, and go through some Hell Cow games, as well as jumped into a few free games to see if there's any gear I could pick up to kind of show off to y'all, because for the trap build, I'm still missing a decent pair of hands. Not the worst thing on the planet. If I was doing the fire traps, I actually have a sword as well as gloves that would work a lot better. But since I'm doing the lightning build, there really is just, I need to find one of the tiaras that's a rare rare, so it has like a yellow name instead of a golden name, that allows me to add lightning damage. Like, I have one already, but it only adds like 1 to my skills, which is not optimal. Like, +2 would be better. But if I can get gloves that either enhance lightning skills or lightning damage, that would be perfect for this build. So I just gotta go and find them. There's also a specific jewel that adds lightning damage to all your abilities, and those are really rare. I got really lucky to find mine in a free game, but I put that into the, I don't remember if I put that into the helm for this build or if I put it into the helm for my javelin Amazon. Because Javelin Amazon will mostly thunder or lightning damage, and so you have to throw bonuses to that on them. So they benefit both from that damage buff as well as the skill buffs. So most Amazon stuff, you're buffing both. Before I go north, I want to go over here. Okay. So they benefit from both buffs. I will say I'm not the best Javazon player because I'm really bad at putting skills into it. Because one of the things you need to do is at least put skills into where you can summon a Valkyrie. If you use the piece body armor, you can kind of get away with not doing that because it has a 10% chance of when you get struck by an enemy of summoning a level 17 Valkyrie, which is a lot better than the number of skills you would put into it, even with skill plus stuff. So I generally tend to just rely on that armor's summoned Valkyrie, which triggers frequently enough. If you're doing like Hell Cows though, it's not great because you don't have your Valkyrie for very long, or if you even get it, because you really do not want to be getting hit by those cows. Even if you follow the online guides where it's like, oh yeah, you want to put just this much into your strength, this much into your dex, if you're a Sin, or you just want to put this much into your dex and strength if you're a Zon, so you can just wear the, the Enigma, the lowest, like the best Enigma you can get with Archelon plate, which requires less than 110 strength to wear. To be fair, respecing into that, if you come across one of those or are able to make one of those yourself, it's fine at that point. And then stuff everything else into your life, essentially. The only people that require anything other, like you'll find online, the only thing classes that require anything other than that are like barbarians, because all of their stuff is strength based. They get so much more out of each point into strength than any other class. Paladins and sorceresses, you really can get away with just the minimum for gear if you're going to be a Hammeridin, because skill levels matter more, and getting through magical and physical resistance matters more to them, because hammers are considered both magical and physical for resistances in enemies. So to maximize your damage, you need 2 charms, essentially, more than you need strength or dex. I will say most of the paladin gear that you're going to want to run anyway, just for skills, the lowest level that you can get an item that will allow you to do the stuff still requires about 110 to 115 strength, and at least 50 dex. especially if you do certain types of swords, which allow you to use the. I'm gonna try to click on it. I have it for this character. That allow you to use the sword spirit. There we go. That allow you to use the spirit, and then for Heart of the Oak and Call to Arms, those are 90% of the time put on a flail, just because people like to move them between characters. And if you put it on one of the paladin only maces, if you want it on a good one, so you don't have to like take it off while you're fighting, because it does give +2 to all skills and gives you the battle cries from a barbarian. What you'll need in that case is roughly 130 strength and I think 75 dex. But those also usually come with a ton of paladin only skills added to them as well. So if you find one that enhances your main 2 or 3 abilities, because outside of just skill ranks in the hammer is affected by your skill ranks in 2 other auras. If you can get a hammer that or one of the special maces that gives you skills into those 2 on top of your +2 skills, that's going to be even better. To be fair, if I was going to do a paladin playthrough, which I really don't want to, not my jam, I would probably make my own justice and do that with it. Just because it overly maximizes, and I don't have to be as high level to be super efficient with that class and super effective. Like, once I've come back, I've done a lot of learning on how the different classes play. I've had a lot of people try and mentor me in them when I've tried them out. But honestly, this is by far my favorite. You can see I'm poisoned. Poison here will only take you to 1 HP. And since I've already killed her, I gotta go back to my own TP. And that did not give me all the levels. It's hoping for him to 14. Really don't want to, but I guess I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna zoom out while I'm in town. It looks like we are gonna have to do the catacombs a little lower in level than I want. But I might just be overcautious right now. I know I'm in like decent gear, but I've also tried soloing through the campaign on normal a few times as an assassin. Interesting, I've never seen those in Ethereal. As you'll notice, one of the free games I went into this morning, I picked up a whole Saigon set. So again, if you're starting any new character, first thing you need to do is jump in online, go to one of the free games, and try and get yourself this set. It literally works for everybody because, like I just said, every guide online is going to tell you to at least get 105 to 110 strength. So you might as well just start off getting that so you can be defensive and more survivable early game and wear this stuff. That's also going to be going out in the free game. So here's the sword I was talking about. If I was going to use flame traps, I could while I'm in Act 1, I could just reskill to them. It wouldn't take me too long to do so. By level 33, this would give me 3 more to each of their skills, adding to all of their damage. At level 23, this gives me 1 to their skills, And then that's level 62. That should be over here. This is other gear and stuff that I found that I'm moving to my other characters. So, oh yeah, I did put it in this one. So it's the Tasha's gem. So this gives me 2 to my trap skills and adds a bunch of lightning skill damage. The Tasha's Bloodhorn also should go in the... There's a circlet that Javazons, or any Amazon really uses, but Javazons primarily. And that is the one you want to be running. I don't need that because all that does is hurt me after 1 stack of it. Okay. If you're wondering why I have runes here like this, they make things. Ort Soul gives me lore. So if I can get a slightly higher level helm, like in the 30s, I'll probably make a lore version of that to hold me over in the meantime. I have a 3-socketed here. I'm gonna have to try and make a game and trade probably a good rune to have somebody who has an X ladder character turn that into another cure, because cure, I think cure is effective, or if you do the basic rune for cure, I want to say it starts at like 35, whereas the one I have is a 66 version, and this one only gives level 1 cleansing aura. It can give up to level 15, so I'm just going to try and get I have the IO, I have the shell, I have the tall. I just have to get a ladder person to do the socketing for me. Okay, so now we're going to go to Act 2. We're going to go to Loot Gotham. First, just because some things glitch. Yes. In Act 2, even if you're not getting rushed through it, you need to talk to all the NPCs. Miss Atma gives you your first quest. She's the one that tells me that I need to... she's the one in charge of telling me that I need to go into the sewers. If you're playing the game, this the sewers quest is one of the ones you want to do. And that is entirely because the sewers quest gives you a skill book. So you activate it and you gain another free skill. If you do all 6 of them, then by the time you get level 99, you have 105 skill points. So you can max out 5 entire skills by getting them to 20. And then you have 5 to get into an effect that you may need. In this case, we're trapped, so we don't need Blessed Aim. We don't need defense. Heals is alright. But right now... yeah, heals is going to be the best one for us right now. And the reason why I say that is later on you can get one that has thorns or movement speed plus, so you can use them to help you out. If you're not a, well, I would say if you're not a paladin, even paladins, the big thing to do in this game at the higher levels is your mercenary. So this is why most people use the mercenary for Night 2. Your mercenary, you're going to load up with gear, like that cure helm. I have a halberd for him. I need to make a armor for him. All of which, while equipped, give an active aura effect, which affects everybody within a radius. And in doing so, what essentially you're doing is you're buffing yourself and just having the mercenary follow you around as your buff. In the case of the mercenaries from Act 2, they're good because they have the ability. They have the ability to carry the Infinity pike, which is a rune-worded pike, and what the Infinity pike does is it allows them, when they hit an enemy, they sunder that enemy's resistances, not just to magic but to everything, and at higher levels, especially if you give them good gear, they can attack pretty frequently, and they're pretty good at attacking every enemy, not just one. So it really helps your damage output for the more difficult difficulties. Oh, that's right, Drogon's the one who sells potions.
Greetings.
Time to hydrate or dihydrate? I need to put all this stuff here. I have the specific mule that I put all my gems on, and I have one that I put all my runes on because I do not have enough inventory space to carry them all, or I do not have enough shared space to keep them all here now, mainly because my organizational methods. But I do generally tend to put stuff on mules after a while. I have a mule for extra socketed gear because if I can ever get the runes to make certain things, I do like to make them. Even if I don't use them for my build, if they're useful, I'll make them and then throw them out in a free game for somebody. Especially if they're like higher level ones that are great for a build, but if I'm not going to play that build, I'm not going to just keep it for myself. I'd rather just give it to somebody who can use it. Which is why I was super happy when somebody was nice enough to give me, the person who gave me my mosaics gave me my Enigma as well as my Call to Arms. And essentially, I'd been saving up Necromancer gear because I was planning on leveling one, and we were in ball rush games, so the higher level person was essentially killing all the mobs so that we could level fast. And we were leveling up pretty fast, and so we ended up going through finishing leveling up. We went to nightmare mode. The person ended up that was doing the ball runs offered to rush us through nightmare mode, and so we did. And at the end, he didn't have any gear because I think I got lucky doing a bunch of free gear earlier when I came back, because it was a few weeks before the Diablo 4 expansion came out, and so people were kind of like clearing stuff out. Like, I don't want to lose this, especially if I'm playing for like a few months and don't come back to this game. Because I don't know if they still have it, but Diablo 2 used to be, if you did not play a character for a month, a timer would show up, and you would have essentially 30 more days to play that character, or else they'd be deleted by the system. And so that's why free games are pretty prevalent on here, because somebody knows they're not coming back to play in a long while. They'll usually set a free game up throw all their stuff out and be like, I'm not going to use it anymore. Here, take it, so you can get some use out of it, so it doesn't just get deleted to the ether. Yeah, back in 2002, 2003-ish time frame, last time I really played this game. When I got my Xbox, and I was like, I'm not coming back to it. I went and made a free game and dropped everything. I had multiple Heart of the Oaks. I had multiple Call to Arms, multiple Enigmas, all of which I had farmed myself. Which back in the day was a lot easier than it is now.
I need mana.
But I had the Shako, which I have like 3 of across my characters right now from free games. I have found like 3 more given away in cow runs. So the Shakos aren't that rare of a drop like they used to be. So they definitely have changed stuff in the interim. I'm just trying to... I've got 2 more levels to get strength to 100, and then I'm going to get my dex up to 50. Because the sword that my Justice is on, or sorry, Spirit is on, that is a dex-based sword. Oh, we got another one. I always find it funny every time I do a Tall Rosh's run, which is a leveling run you do once you've got to the end of Act 2. You're essentially running through all of the various tombs that could lead to the boss. Every time I do those, I end up getting at least 1 tall rune. And this is even back in the day, so like in my brain, I know it's wrong, but every time I do a tall run, I'm like, yep, this is where all the tall runes are found. Because it's Tall Rosh's tomb, this is where you get the tall runes. Which is not true at all. I found tall runes elsewhere, but my brain is still funny in that way. So really, till I get more mana, now that I've got a couple of skill levels into the next skill up on the skill tree, I'm just going to try and max out Shockweb. Because what I'm trying to do, because I'm just going to use primarily this trap and then this trap, I'm just going to try and max out Shockweb, Charge Bolt, because that'll max out this. And then I'll try and go back and do Blast after I've maxed all 3 of these as my 4th. After that, I'm going to go into Shadow Disciplines and get my Shadow Mastery just once, and then I'll come back in and finish up Death Trap. The problem with Death Trap is it's great, but you have to have dead bodies to maximize its effectiveness. It does a great job producing its own bodies to explode, but I don't know. I've never found it as effective as the other lightning ones. That may also be because every time I'm high enough level and do runs, and I have that skill chosen, I'm running, there's always a Necromancer, and they've just brought everything back, so I don't have any bodies to explode for extra damage. there's the theoretical and then there's the in real game experience. Just presume you're going to run into a necromancer when you're doing high end stuff, and then it's just going to be better for you to stick with the lightning. Actually, we hit level 15, so I forgot to equip these. Boom. Now we're more survivable. I'll check that thing out later. Okay. The funny thing is, whenever you're playing any character, there's this weird midpoint on all of your skills that if you max out your lower ones first, you can max out one or two of the higher skills, but you'll find that your lowest skill, so in this case like Shocking Web, might actually very much out damage some of your other skills. So, say I maxed out Shockweb and I maxed out Charge Bolt Sentry, and Lightning Sentry is, say I've got half my skills into it, it's at 10 out of 20. This will actually deal more damage than this skill does. Which is funny, because once you max this skill at 20 of 20, it will then be doing higher damage, but until you max it out, your lower skills will, funnily enough, deal slightly more damage. It's when you get, like, really, really close, like you're at 17 of 20, that you'll just swap over to it, because it finally is the better, more damaging skill. Also, I have not taken this far enough to see all of a maxed out explosive skill and then blowing these out, because it adds one barb per level after level 3 of that. So I wonder just how much of the screen gets filled when that's maxed. That would be hilarious. Okay. Now to go back around. Head north. Sorry about that. So, as we're coming here into the sewers, essentially what we're doing is clearing out all the undead for them, because You know, it's bad to have undead in the sewers. You know, it really got the deserts filled with nasty creatures and beasts. Ain't nobody want a skeletal hand coming up from the hole and take one of them. Maybe 5 level skill. Chest. Logical scroll. So, return to unlockable right there. Return to decorative game because the heraldic scroll is going to tell us to go get all the pieces so that we can assemble Exodia and save the deserts. That's right, Diablos. My grandfather's deck has no bad cards. I play Moldy Nerd Tactical. I do sound old. I tell you what. Back in my day, games were in this graphical setting. It's good to know places like 343 Studios and Blizzard has not forgotten the days of old, the days of the 90s. Why am I running back instead of using the scroll? I don't know. Bad habit. If you're making fun of myself, I'm only 34 and yet I act like I have dementia some days. There was a desert and a bunch of fleas jumping at me. Shocked me. And there were giant cat women centaur things.
Hello. They say.
What did we get, Deckard Kane? Nothing of value. Something even less value. But we did find... What made the journey matter most is the food we met along the way. I mean friends we met along the way. Tasty, tasty friends. Alright, I can put it off no longer. I must go into the desert. So yesterday when I was saying that this is the last of the levels that has a changeable exit, it can either be here or it can be up there. Listen, I'm unironically sounding like Deckard Kane.
Not enough mana.
Little feral cat demon things. Those guys are annoying. Like, if you get 20 of them on you, it's like, come on, really? These guys are chump. They're also kinky. Ah, he leveled up. Nice. They're also very kinky lately, like attacking with whips. So our goal right now is we need to find... There's a tomb here in this first zone that will give us what is called the Horizon Cube. It is the most useful thing in the game. At endgame level stuff, you need it to craft. That's what you use to make new runes from lower level runes. You will use it to upgrade your gems eventually from chipped all the way to perfect. It allows you to craft magical items using those gems, as well as other items included into it. So, which some of that was in the old game. There was a lot that you could do in the old game with crafting in it. They have since expanded greatly upon what you can craft. Like, you used to not be able to make like yellow and orange name things. You had to get those from hell difficulty drops. Like there's two types of yellow. Technically there's three. So you have the golden ones, which are legendary. You have your yellow ones, which are considered magical. You have like this bloody yellowish color. It's like orangey, but not quite. Those are crafted rare items. Those were a big addition to this game's playing. Before they were in the code, and only time I ever saw them was on instead of closed Battle.net, which we're playing on now, was open Battle.net, which is where you could play as your campaign, your offline campaign characters. And that place that's where everybody ran the modded gear and equipment, and it was broken, and I don't want to say it was a scary place. It was definitely a sketchy place. Like, OpenBattle.net's the place you wanted to go if you wanted to find an actual, like, drug dealer kind of deal. Though that might be a little over-exaggeration of it, but not too far. I feel like a lot of people met their drug dealers through OpenBattle.net, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's also the place you would go for the additional programs that would, instead of help bot you through farming stuff, as soon as you turn them on, they would just make free games and drop all of your stuff. Those were advertised there. That's where most people got that stuff done. I unfortunately learned about those the hard way. Those were not cool. And sometimes the sites that they advertised on there for mods and stuff were not for, like, game mods. They were very much to, like, off-brand sites. And not the innocent kind of off-brand either. Like, very sus off-brand. Oh, here we go. Still need to level up. Actually, hold up. Is this the right place? Or am I... No, I have to go to the Halls of the Dead. I keep forgetting that. I keep thinking this is a place you actually have to go. So the moral of my story for that stuff is don't mod or bot the game. It's not worth it. Just play normally. I sit down and play this for a couple hours for a part of a playthrough. You can do 1 or 2 quests in your spare time, or if your time is very limited and you just want to do high-end stuff or use your high-end gear, just go into the online lobbies and either get a rush or join a game that is trying to quest through it, because you'll get through the whole thing in like an hour. Unless you're really unfortunate when your group gets to Act 3. Which has always happened to me. Act 3 has always taken days. Or not days, but like hours. Because, like I said last stream, Act 3 literally is essentially one single large map. And that one single large map is very intricate, complicated, and there are no like, oh, for sure you're in this zone. You have to look up here in the upper right hand corner to be like, am I in the right zone? Where am I looking? Because there are no signposts once you're there. So while you're there, you're going to be lost for a while, just following the little corners of the map. Luckily, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of places you can actually go there. So you're just kind of stuck. You're stuck on a very complex labyrinth of a railroad track.
Not enough mana.
At least the good news is, if I wasn't just trying to level, and I was trying to like speed run through here, I know that this part of the Dry Hills map has the waypoint, so the place I need to go is 100% up those stairs that show up on the map here. But I'm trying to level some before I get to that part. So I will go up there here in a second after I've cleared this area. Why you throwing bowls? Come on, just break a bottle. Let's be honest, they don't have to throw the data model. Let's just cut it loose. You know the repercussions. I'm gonna stop there before I get DMCA'd. If you know the song, you know. It's a goodie and an oldie. I'm shocked the dude is still making hip-hop music. But to be fair, one of the biggest hit songs in, I guess, the last decade was one of his. Booty, booty, booty everywhere. Blow the sparks. Rapping bars from the south of the 90s. Here we go. Halls of the Dead level 1. Usually I take it slow because not necessarily because of the beetles that I'm worried about, but here those big tall guys that keep respawning the stupid skeletons, the hollow ones, are such a pain. At least with this trap, I can clear them out pretty well. Because they spawn their little minion and then die immediately to the trap. I hear you, kitty cat. I'll let you out after stream. I haven't been doing that while I'm doing anything. My PC has to be in my way. If I'm just vegging out and watching YouTube, it leaves me alone the entire time. So I had to put her in a side room with all of her stuffs. She's got all of her amenities for a couple of hours, guys. Otherwise, I'd be pathfinding people at people's house, so she doesn't accidentally hit something. Awesome, there's 3 people. Hello there. Right now I'm clearing out the Halls of the Dead. Like I was saying before y'all joined, this is where we get the Roderick Cube. It's the most important item in the game. Not that it gives you any great power, it allows you to craft. It allows you to upgrade your gems. Gems are a little more simple than runes, but it allows you to upgrade and craft your runes. Allows you to craft special magic items. It's also just generally used for the quest for this entire act. So if you're using it to craft gems, to upgrade to the next rarity up in a gem, you need 3 of the level below it in rarity. if you're doing runes, depending on the level, once you start getting into like level 20 runes and level 30 runes, some of them also require a specific type of gem to be crafted along with it, as well as you don't need 3 runes, you'll usually need 2 of the rune and a gem. And the reason why upgrading to P-gems is so good is because if you have no high-end gear, as long as you're saving up those gems, you can afford some runes in gear. My lurkers are gone. I'm glad to have had y'all while y'all stayed. Okay, so that's the level down. I've got one room I need to go back and clear, and then I'll go down. Just to let y'all know, I appreciate that y'all even joined into the stream, or if y'all are watching this in the future, ooh, welcome to the future. I do appreciate you watching. This is my first foray into this type of art, I guess. The art I primarily do is assembling and painting Warhammer, and deck tech for Magic the Gathering. I'm not TBH for that. I am simply, I focus on making tribal things. I enjoy making tribes work real well.
Not enough.
I have recently learned I have made decks with combos I didn't even realize existed, so that shows just how little of like just a combo player I am. I'm not. I know like 3 or 4 staple like infinite mana combos for the mana blue based off of artifacts if you're mono blue, but outside of that, it's all artifacts. I came up with an infinite mana combo once, but it takes 5 pieces to do, essentially. I mean, you can really get it going off with like 3 or 4, but for it not to be like mind-numbingly confusing how you play the cards, like it's a 5-card combo. So I used to put that combo in all of my decks. I have since taken it out. It's the Voltaic Key, Rings of Bright Hearth, or if you have a Voltaic Key and a Ring of Bright Hearth, it's a 3-piece combo because then you just use Gilded Lotus with it. And well, really, that gives you infinite triggers. But what you can do with it is, if you use Voltaic Key and Manifold Key, plus Soul Ring, Gilded Lotus, and either why am I drawing a blank on the name of it? It's the OG cheaper version of Rings of Bright Hearth. Tyrannic Resonator, there we go. Tyrannic Resonator, you can get infinite mana, because without Stronic Resonator and the Soul Ring there to help pay for the second trigger. All you do is this infinite untaps, which, unless you get something off of when an artifact is tapped, doesn't really do much. So it's a stupid combo, but I've just simply replaced it with Basalt Monolith and Chromatic Orrery. And Rings of Light Hearth. Because Basalt Monolith and Rings of Bright Hearth give you unlimited colorless mana, and then Chromatic Orrery allows you to use that and turn it into colored mana. So if you're not playing mono blue artifacts, you're probably going to need color to spend, unless you're trying to do like Exsanguinate or Fireball or one of those spells or cards where you just pay X into it, and X doesn't matter the color, it's colorless mana to pay into it. Right now it's just going to be a little boring, because I'm just fighting my way through here to get to the lowest level. On this level particularly, though, I do need to find the waypoint, so I will be wandering around just a little bit more. A big thing that changed in Act 2 from the original game to this one is back in the day, to level in Act 2, so to get from level 15 to 25, you would do Arcane Sanctum runs, which is a place we'll get to later on in the expansion. But that is what everybody would run instead of Talwashas. And then when I came back to this, I was like, why is everybody running Talwashas? And so I just asked somebody, like, why don't they do Arcane Sanctum? And really, it's because, one, no one really thinks about it, and two, they nerfed the number of enemies in the Sanctum and buffed the number of enemies in the Talwash's tombs. And so, in that case, literally, it's just better to run through the tombs because you get more EXP per time invested. Whereas for a solo playthrough, we gotta play this like we're Publishers Clearinghouse. Everything must go. By the way, that's on the BCA grown at that company. It's just, I remember that slogan from theirs from so long ago in commercials. Our prices are so low, we can't even advertise them publicly. God, I loved those. There's our Roger Cube. Now we actually need to find... Oh, we're on level 3 already. Whoops, we gotta go back a level. Because we need to find the waypoint. Unless I'm going insane and we've already got it. No, just being stupid. We will see. Oh, we did get it already. Okay. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna talk to Deckard Cain, then we have to go back to the Dry Hills. What you have there is an incredibly powerful item. Herodrum's Cube. Since this is the entrance, that means the exit's up here. So there's a few things that, even though the maps are they're all set maps, but they're like randomly chosen. There are patterns to it that you can follow. So, like I said, with this one, since the waypoint was down below, the mission piece would be on the upper tier. Since the entrance was down below, that means the exit has to be up here as well. So those are some pro gamer tips for playing through. So you're not just randomly running around unless you're in Act 3. In which case, I got nothing for you. Act 3 is Act 3. It's its own beast. Act 4... I've never actually run all the way through Act 4. Even in my old days, I've never actually done a full run through of that. I do know... Or I will say in Act 5, the first area is a very straight run. All you have to do, especially if you're like not geared enough to kill the enemies. Okay, here we go. These are the guys that I was warning y'all about. Luckily, I deal enough damage where they're not too big of a problem. But that being said, I do have to find the waypoint. Just have to outrun the lightning. Here we're looking for a place called the Maggot Slayer. It is an underground tunnel complex that in multiplayer is really a pain. If you're playing with multiple people and you go to it, or somebody finds it, essentially send your best or highest level character through there, because they are single character corridors. What I mean by that is you cannot pass each other, the enemies cannot pass each other. There may be hundreds of enemies down there, but it doesn't matter because you're fighting them one at a time. Unless they're those stupid swarms, and then in which case they unfortunately can like stack up on each other, which is super annoying. Now we're looking for a nasty hole in the ground. And since our waypoint was up there, that means everything else is going to be down here.
Not enough mana.
And this goes to... Okay, cool. Found the lost city. Now they're going to tell me to go back and talk to the magic shop man. Because he's going to ask us, you need to go and investigate the magical darkness that's in
Not enough mana. I need mana.
Which, buddy, I'll solve your problem if I find another way. Fortunately, we can't just fill the layer with millions of gallons of aluminum. Though that would be funny and cool. You know what? Yeah. I will go back and talk to old dude. Real quick. Okay, so that's 100, so let me get this up. Because, you know, I'll TV one second. It's gotta be one somewhere. Oh, yep, here it is. I was like, I felt like I was somewhere. One, heal
Tell me
up.
your troubles.
Two, I'm gonna talk to you and get some mana potions anyway, buddy. Okay. Well, now we find our way through the corridors. See, now I'm glad I came down here with this extra level or two under my belt.
I need mana. Not enough mana. I need mana.
Also, speaking of gems, unless it's like specific gear, like named gear, whenever you gem something, it changes the color to be the color of the gem. So, like, if you put a sapphire in a helmet, it turns the helmet blue, or the armor. I'm stuck.
I need mana.
Oh, wait. Freaking thing. So there's that. Some set items actually have multiple sockets for gems or runes. A lot of times what people will suggest, especially for runes, is like for the Natalia set, which is going to be for a different character. And you're welcome. To put all three sockets from the body into brain. Make them all perfect tophazes and socket the helm and put a topaz into that. That way you have a really high amount of magic finds for a set or for gear. Because magic finds is going to have to find those runes that you may want or need. Mind you, the Natasha set, if you're just patient enough, you can probably find most of it in 2 or 3 free games. Most people check out a piece. The only piece that's usually hard to find is the weapons, the guitars. Though, if you're a new assassin and you're just trying to get it, and you go into a game while you're lonely, like, hey, I'm trying to level this, I don't have any gear other than, like, the free stuff dropped from the Natasha set. You know, anybody have the weapons? I'm pretty sure you'll get a couple people to help you. I unfortunately had a couple of already kind of geared up classes. Some of the people I met on here were like, hey, you should play Paladin or Sorceress. And so when I'm going into the games trying to gear up, like, people are less inclined to be like, you've already got good gear, so you gotta trade for it. So I'm like, I was literally given this stuff yesterday. I don't have stuff. So people in here are nice. I will say it's a really good community. You will find the occasional troll. Just be patient, they will leave. The biggest issue on that is when you get to, like, if somebody is rushing you, there are certain people that will just jump in the game, because usually you automatically ally yourself with people. They'll find out where you're at, and they'll usually be like a sorceress, and so they'll just teleport themselves to your location, kill everybody, and then just run away, and then wait at the waypoint for everybody to try and come back and get their bodies. And so really use that to be more patient than them. They will leave. I've blocked about 5 people who've done this in the last few months. You might be like, well, 5? That's a lot for a couple months. Not really, because I think a couple of them I did try and block. It wouldn't let me because I think I already have them blocked. So they were joining other people's games. So normally if everybody doesn't, if you all leave and block the person, they can't join your game if somebody who runs the game has them blocked. So, if you don't like what people are saying, there's an easy mute button and block button.
Not enough mana.
Because, like I said, those people in this game want to help each other. We're here to have fun and relax. Matter of fact, this morning I joined a free game and I actually gave some stuff away that I collected in those cow games earlier this morning. It wasn't much, but it was like good open socketed gear and a couple of gems, or not gems, but jewels, and a few pieces of yellow, the legendary type gear that I found. So this must be the way down. This place could really do with helping a Gugon. It's everywhere. Oh God, it's in the raccoon room. Oh, my voice is not up to doing a Peter Griffin voice right now. Oh God, Lois. No, I got the cadence and accent right. It's just not able to pitch properly right now. It's in the raccoon rooms. But Brian. What do you get when you now one of the what do you get when you now one of the Sorry, that is from a movie called Kung Pao Enter the Fist. If you were a child of the 90s, you probably have heard of it. If you were a male child of the 90s, you definitely heard it. Or at least heard of it if you haven't watched it. Sometimes I'm hanging with people and I'll click from it, and like, especially at like the card shop or something, and like one of the people there be like, oh my God, my husband quotes that all the time. Alright, we're through down here. We're gonna get out. 'cause I'm not fighting through those tunnels anymore.
Good morning.
I'm gonna heal me up. Okay. So now I gotta go to the Viper's Claw
The stuff.
after I talk to you about the stuff.
Approach and let's trade.
My stuff. Please, you must uncover it and touch it. Sorry, Deckard K, not into that. But it's the staff of destiny. I don't care. You know, the world could be ending tomorrow, and no, still not happening, Kane. Well, fine. Buddy, you make the pyramid seem young. So now we're going to the last spot to get the amulet. Then we need to fight our way through the basement of the palace, because that is how we get down to the Arcane Sanctum. After a teleporter that will appear there, we will get to Tal Rasha's 2. So we are... Wow, really? Wow, okay. Well, I know where this is, so now I gotta go find the waypoint real quick. So we're actually winding down to the end of Act 2 already. So, waypoint should be... Yep, waypoint's here. Okay. You know, traveler, back in my day, people respected their elderly. Yeah, but they weren't being creepy like you. What do you mean I'm being creepy?
Dark magic in a darker tune.
I don't think in today's day and age you can say that, character. So I am going to have to slow down instead of running through like I just did the Maggot Slayer, but the Maggot Slayer was definitely a pain in my butt. For too long. So we're going to slow down. Might get a little boring for the grinding through with enemies. But unlike Andriel, Tal Rasha has a lot of HP. And while he doesn't deal a significant amount of damage, it's enough where we definitely want to at least be trying to be level 20. Yeah. Try, may not get there, but we will do our best. We have to clear a couple of his tombs before we go to the actual one to get the XP we need. Hopefully not. Because with my sense of direction, the Arcane Sanctum is probably going to take a while to get through. Because there are 4 paths, and there's no way of telling which of the 4 you need to take. So, it literally could just be So we will see. You know, I just realized all of the cutscenes are from the Dark Wanderer's perspective and not from yours and Kane's adventure. So essentially, we're seeing most of the story through the bad guy's lens. Which, mind you, for going from Act 1 into Act 2, very much is the case. Once we go from Act 2 to Act 3, it kind of more picks up on our tale. Or at least the story of the area itself. So, there's a little bit a tonal change in the cutscenes. And then Act 5 is just the guy that runs out of here at the final cutscene for this expansion, or for this act. It's just him running for his life out of here, and then we see where he ends up from that mad dash. Okay, so I didn't kill everything in the floor above. So let's go back and do that. I know the gameplay for this game is a little chillaxed and not, like, exciting, so that's why I'm doing so much talking to kind of make up for that. But yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to fill in the lowest 2 skills. I've picked up the 3rd highest for the lightning tree, but at the moment, just the lowest 2 give me the most damage and give me the most for my mana usage, so it just makes this a lot smoother, and I don't have to use as much mana potions. And I don't have to keep, like, running away from the enemies, because as long as I stand still for this trap in particular, they literally just walk into the damage area. So it's kind of like twofold boon. I know, kitty cat, I hear you being upsetty. Oh, I know. See, Yeah, just clearing this out so that one for the EXP. That's really it. This is EXP. Those enemies from the catacombs in Act 4, the one that shot fireballs at us, the next area has those, but they also throw balls of flame and deal a lot more damage. So again, we're just trying to level up to make sure we survive. Okay, with all that said and done, now we can go back because everything we need is going to be in town. So we're going to talk to a couple people, like Deckard Cain here. Oh, the Amulet of the Viper. You know, they used to call me the Snake back in the day. Cain, stop talking about your... Why do you assume I'm talking about mine? Because a lot of this stuff can be a euphemism. That's why, Cain. Okay, so we've crafted the staff. Sorry about that. We've crafted the staff. Now we can just put this in here for now because we'll need it in Act 3, but we won't need it till the end of Act 3, and Act 3 is definitely going to be a two-parter. I'm thinking if somehow I get lucky and get through that stupid jungle within like a 2.5 hour period, I will push and finish it up completely. But Act 3 is rough.
Excellent.
Mostly for navigation. But if you're lost and you have to defend yourself the entire time, see, if you don't talk to all those people, sometimes this dude glitches and says you're not welcome in the temple.
I allowed the terrified
Now we can talk to him, which will, after we've talked to him, stops the other dude from glitching later on once we complete Tal Rasha's Tomb. So we're gonna go, excuse me. There we go. So there is a waypoint down here. I don't think I've ever been able to find it. I don't know if that's like a weird glitch in the game or what, but I have for the life of me never been able to find that waypoint down here. Though it might just also be because even though I've looked everywhere down here, I've also been kind of in a rush to just get all the way down because much like the Outer Cloister in Act 1 waypoint, if you're coming back to rush people through the game later on, nobody's going to want to rush through the Jailer. It just is a useless waypoint at that point. Or the jail level 2, because the jail level 2 is actually further away from the jailer than the inner cloister. So not going to find the waypoint on level 2, just trying to find my way down. Making my way downtown, walking fast, facing fast, I'm homebound. Doodly doodly doo 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 doo. There we go. See, going through the palace cellar, the way down until you get to the lowest floor is in one of the 4 corners. You just have to find which of those 4 corners it is. Nope, that's a way down in here. Sometimes these maps make absolutely no sense with how their directions work. Because sometimes sometimes it will look like it's just a stacked cellar, and every time you go down, you just go to the next corner to your right or to your left, and you're down to the next floor. Sometimes it's like the dimensions are kind of impossible unless it was specifically stacked in a weird way as it was built.
Not enough mana.
Now we're kind of seeing that difficulty curve creep up. So I can see where I need to go, but the question is, how do I get there?
I need mana.
Are you throwing it over there? It.
Not enough.
Alright, so now we made it to the Arcane Sanctuary.
Sounds obsession.
We're going to go back to the Gundam, heal up, get some more potions, and then try and make our push through the Arcane Sanctum.
Greetings.
So, I have a mana potion here. Actually, I'm using those more often than I'm using the healing potions. Let me swap these around. One, two, three, four. Four. Okay. So this stream's just going to be a little bit longer than last time, but I think we may finish the Arcane Sanctuary, and then unfortunately I am just going to grind and watch this tomb off screen, because I'm going to have to grind that through a few times to level 25. Just because Randall, the boss, is such a pain in the rear to kill. I just don't want to watch me smack him for like 20 minutes when 5 minutes might be. So I am going to do that going offline, because that, unfortunately, that will take a couple hours to do that. Because each time you do a run, if you're starting at level 15, you usually get 2 levels per run. Once you get level 20, it's usually a level per run. And since we'll be starting it at probably level 20, maybe level 21. Yeah, we'll be starting at level 20. I'm going to have to do 4 or 5 runs with it. And that is just going to be for everybody. So much like what other YouTubers do. offline grind for Minecraft, I'm gonna respect y'all's time and do that grind offline as well. But when we come back next time, I will do a full clear of them, just so you can see what that's like. I'll commentary for it. I'll do a higher level for the clear through easily. And then we'll fight Durandal. I would try and push through today, but one, I gotta do the grinding and it's gonna be boring for y'all to watch. I'm not gonna have much to say, and I'm already tired. It has been months since I've had to talk this much, so I'm kind of getting used to it. So as we go through here, you're going to see that we chose one path. If I'm absolutely lucky, this is the right one. There is no way of telling ahead of time until you get to the very end of the path. So we may be here for about 10 minutes. If not slightly longer, just hoping we're within our way. And, oh, okay, well, we did find the right one. That is literally a first. Like, even when I've, like, come through here on, like, a sorceress and teleported around, I've never gotten this first go. I need to go. Okay, he's dead. Seekers of Talrash's. Alright. So let's head back to Loot Gotham. So for this, I need to take that to the tomb. I need to return the town for more information, which means I gotta talk to a few people. Let me do that.
Horizon's urinal? Oh, journal. Yes, well, glad you found it. Such a shame. Good to see you. Ask and learn.
Okay.
There's no trouble a mug can't cure.
Huh?
Alright, so we've talked to everybody in town. So the last two quests are literally in the tombs. So when we come back, we'll look for our triangular tomb. And then we will beat Durandal. Thanks everybody who watched today. Sorry if some of my monologue is a little boring occasionally. I'm still getting used to this and trying to be witty. I appreciate everybody who came out and has listened this long. I want to thank my awesome fiance for helping me set up my streams and making sure I can run them smoothly, because I'm very tech illiterate. I am very much a boomer for a 34-year-old. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. My streaming schedule is going to be updated in the description. It's going to be Tuesdays or Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Wednesdays and Fridays, it is going to be at 9 a.m. Until we complete our goal. I'm going to try and keep it around a 2 to 3 hour mark. for most of the playthroughs, at least for this, because that gets us to good stopping points most of the time. But yeah, I will look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Sundays I will be doing afternoons though. That stream will be starting at 2. So please have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.